Hi, friends. Happy Monday. I'm going to wait a couple minutes, of course. I freshly showered for you, so you're welcome at home. I hope you're having a great day. And per usual, get your yoga space ready. Get it as collective and calm and welcoming as possible. I've been loving my blocks lately. When I say lately, I mean a long time, loving those blocks. So, blocks at the top of the mat. Um, and if you don't have them at home, no big deal. The blocks just really transform your yoga of letting the earth come to you. Firm believer in that. Um, Super inexpensive, a pair for like $6 on Amazon. And that could be a great value to your yoga practice at home. So, friends, I am Katie. Welcome, welcome. And I'm just going to wait maybe just another minute. Really lovely flow today. Very mindful, of course. We're going to slow down some of our movements, do a little bit of different feet transactions, going from one pose to the other. I am going to curl up on my yoga mat. Um, I have a lovely little candle going for this morning. So, friends, gather with me, right? Shall I invite you to your experience on the mat at home? Um, I have been house sitting. I've been house sitting for a little while over this past weekend, and there's nothing like coming home to your space for a moment. I think I have somebody joining. Give me a hello so I can see who is on. Maybe a quick little comment, little heart that you are online virtually with me. If you're pushing play on a later date, that's okay as well. So this morning, as I was waking up doing my morning routine, I'm house sitting and dog sitting. And on these long hallways in this gorgeous, gorgeous home, are little sensory lights. Kind of when you tap over them, right? They pop on at the bottom edge of the floor. And I'm going down the stairs. Hi, Melanie. Happy Earth Day, girl. Happy Earth Day. So, Melanie, I'm talking about a story of me house sitting this morning, and there's little censored lights to go down this long hallway, and then it leads to probably 4 flights of stairs. So I'm with the doggo going down the stairs, and I miss the last step. So I totally missed the last step. It was like 4:45 this morning. The step is the same um, like tile floor or wood paneling. And I take a fumble. I mean, I'm okay, but I feel like I popped a rib out. I'm like, I'm getting older, guys. But I'm sharing that story because I love the concept of we can see without seeing, right? We can see without needing the vision of sight. I knew there was a final last step. I was in this home for the last 4 days, but it's about trusting, right? The next step that's coming. And then how do we pick ourselves up when we do fall, when we do have a hard landing? And I giggled this morning, and the dog Bo kind of looked at me and made sure I was okay. But maybe we lead with that. Vision on our mat today of what do we do when we do fall, when we come out of the pose? How is our landing? How are we speaking to ourselves in a loving manner through those ups and downs and falls? Because it's not about if they happen, it's when they happen. So that was a lovely, humbling experience this morning. So perhaps on this lovely Earth Day, and thank you, Melanie, for saying that. Let's do our Mother Earth a little bit of a favor, come into peace, right? We know that she is such a spirit of finding this peace in nature. We can learn a lot from Mother Earth, and so let's take our vision without vision on the mat and tune into some tranquil spirit for her, kind of giving back to her. And so we can dedicate our practice to having this peaceful, tranquil landscape, whether it's in our home or outside. And just be careful with those falls, guys. Be careful with those steps. We are going to get started in Shavasana today. So you're welcome. So as we do find Shavasana, it's a very active Shavasana. So as we recline back, uh, remembering perhaps where we just came from a couple hours ago, if you're with me early morning, right? We were nestling in our beds. So as we do extend through both legs, um, finding kind of this active breath and active posture, even in Shavasana, right? We can have the shoulder blades rolled under. We can have our glutes kind of tucked under where they feel best. And as we do find Shavasana, we might roll the toes. We might mummy the arms up towards our sky, towards our ceiling, and roll the wrist out. You might even roll those wrists all the way back to take a good morning stretch. So stretching those arms back, maybe peeling the low back a little deeper off the bat. And then let's see if we can capture our right leg close to the chest, little tuck of the chin. And so what I want you to think about today, friends, is active hamstrings. So I'm going to support the back of my thigh with just a little crisscross of my fingers and roll through that ankle once again. And so we want to pull that thigh close to the chest. Active leg here. And then maybe walk the hands up the calves as we lift the head space. You might even find a deeper stretch through that leg. I'm keeping my foot active, right? Feeling that hamstring. And then as I nestle my head down, I'm going to see if I can keep that leg active, right? A very powerful stretch. No locking of the knee. Ooh, but definitely feel those hamstrings. We'll give that right leg a drop. We'll go ahead and give our bear hug around that left hamstring, maybe a big stretch to the sky. Notice that it's not as limber quite yet. Roll through that ankle. And then maybe, friends, we slide the hands up the back of the calf, a little bit of a tuck of the chin, extend through that leg, a little carve up through the belly. We want to make sure those hamstrings are as open as possible. And as we do drop the head space back down, kind of replant the shoulders, there might be more length that was found through that leg. There might be some shakes at home. That's a good thing, right? We're stretching, breathing into all those spaces. And then give yourself a little bear hug here. And then maybe this happy baby, but with those extended legs, right? Pulling the thighs outside of our rib line and just making sure the hamstrings do feel welcome to breathe. We'll give another little bear hug. We could always roll to one side to scoot ourselves up. I'm gonna test the waters and kind of kick my legs up, find a little rock and roll against my back. And then we'll come and nestle into a seat, right? Wherever you're facing on the mat is totally fine as long as you can see me in the screen. And then from here, I'm going to keep my left leg bent, extend the right leg, and then take a little walk down that right leg. Little bow into that kneecap, into that thigh. And then as we rise, big inhale of breath as if you are supporting your back against a wall. Take a little twist over that right leg, mini supine twist. And then we'll take a switch here. And as we dive into the left side, taking that fold, Melanie, I know that you are online, which is lovely. Anybody else that pushes play and pops on throughout the next week or so, I am doing a final sadhana practice, Melanie, on Sunday, May 5th. And so there'll be a little bit of a summer break. Into those sadhanas. We'll take our twist now. So if that tickles your fancy at all, that will be a final sadhana. And I think that they will come back. But just taking that time off to be with Mother Earth and be with nature throughout my summer. So if that is something that is called to you, kind of preparing sadhana for the next 3 months, this might be a really good workshop. And that's held at Ha Asana Sunday, May 5th, 2 p.m. Anybody out there that's listening. I'm in butterfly pose now, stretching again through inner thighs. Take that lift of heart. And then from here, keeping our butterfly, I want you to stack, doesn't matter which hand on top. And I want this little spiral action, right? Little bit of like quarter twist right to left. Again, heating up, warming up the back for our shapes today. And then meeting me in the middle, good press of palms forward. Thumbs are going to point up, face up. I want you to think about squeezing, activating shoulder blades, and then keeping that squeeze, rising the arms up. Notice I'm not in full extension because of that active back. Give me one more, lowering those palms forward. Squeeze, activate between the shoulder blades, and then rise and lift those arms up. We're going to stretch through our legs, closing our butterfly. Drop your right hand, and I want a really firm grip to your mat, and then take a side stretch. You'll know why we're going through these mini drills in just a moment. Switch it over to the other side. Big press, and I'm actually softening my elbow. I do want that elbow to be proud. That was my fault, getting too absorbed into my poses. And I'm going to make sure I'm on my mat. From here, tabletop position. And so as we do reach our tabletop, make your way through cat and cow, but keep those shoulder blades active. This is always a lovely time to just nestle in, quiet in, and observe how the back is feeling this morning. And we'll complete that kind of last round. Neutralize the spine. Really good tuck of the navel close to the spine. Walking the hands up the thighs. Reach those arms up. Big inhale. Active glutes, pressing the hips forward. We're going to take this big swoop, almost as if you're diving into a halfway lift. My big toes are together. Knees are planted, arms behind me. Inhale, rise. Take on two more. And I want you to gather energy, right? As if you're kind of sweeping your hands through the air, right? Finding this energy through the body as we take on that last one. Big inhale of breath. Lovely. From here, plant those palms, downward dog. Rolling the toes, right? Softening through the knees. Anchoring back. Feel those hamstrings again, right? Wake those babies up today. From here, we'll kind of gaze at our blocks if they are there at the top of the mat. Little tiptoe into them. So we'll find extension through those palms, collect our blocks, finding a strong halfway lift, and we'll take a rock the boat. So what I mean by that is lift the heels, drop the heels, lift the toes. Know that your blocks do heighten, right? And that might help with the back being supported. And we'll keep those blocks there and start to slowly rise away from them, reaching, greeting that tall mountain. Big inhale, arms float up. Again, stacking the spine. Take a swan dive into your fold. Lead with heart, return back to blocks. Maybe knees soften as the head falls between the blocks. And then a halfway lift, inhale, squeeze through the shoulders. Take a fold again, softness to the knees, head rounds down. Reverse swan dive brings us back up to that tall mountain, right? Strong anatomical position. And exhale, take our float back on down to those blocks. I'm going to go medium height of my blocks and set my blocks kind of open to the edges of my mat. We're going to step the right leg back, right? So I'm in this kind of wide, pronounced, strong lunge, reaching forward. You could always scoot that right foot, making sure right toes are leading the way. As we rise up, little bend of the back knee, but it's certainly still strong. Again, still very active. And then cactus those arms as we kind of nestle in front of this tall lunge. Take a breath. Take another. See if we can start to bind right arm under left, finding a little eagle bind here. I know that we're getting strong pretty early in our practice. And then lifting those eagle arms up a little bit higher, tuck the elbows towards the rib cage. Take this little bow, right? There might be some shakes on our mat. That's okay. Inhale, deep rise, come back through strong cactus arms and reframe that front foot, setting the back knee down. Beautiful. Walk the blocks with you. Take a round of the spine. I am stretching my right toes up. Drop into those front toes, re-pick up the back knee. And we're going to take a quarter turn into the opening legs for a wide-legged fold. My blocks are traveling with me just like they are a part of my hand grip and a little bit of this organic movement coming side to side. Taking our paws in our wide width fold, take a walk back to the top of the mat into that low lunge, and go ahead, step that back foot up, take on your fold. Little breath here. Returning into our reverse swan dive up to our mountain, big breath. And take your fold, exhale, let it go. Blocks to the side to plant those palms fully to the mat. High plank, friends. Take a strong greeting throughout that nice linear line, right? Kiss the knees down, lower to belly, tops of the feet flat. Embrace your low cobra, head and heart lift. Strong, active back. Exhale, lower and find a child's pose. Hips coming back. Maybe anchoring forehead to the mat. Give me another big inhale and exhale at home. And pass through your table. Another inhale, a breath leads you there. Downward facing dog. Full flat palms on the mat. Little baby steps, tiptoe to that forward fold, top of the mat space. Go ahead and recollect your blocks or keep those hands planted. It's going to be left leg coming back now to that strong, strong lunge, right? Reset up your kind of little station through the body. You could always inch the front toes forward. Start to lift off of those blocks, rising to your tall crescent lunge, little bend in the back knee. And those cactus arms lead the way. Think about your back being pinned against a wall, and it's left arm under right this time. So left arm under right, those eagle binds back to palms or palms together. Little lift up through the eagle bind and give yourself that tuck, that crunch. Elbows meet to the navel. Feel the shakes on the mat. Breathe through that space. Returning back to the eagle binded high lunge. Open up big strong cactus arms and reconnect to those blocks, top of the mat, palms to the earth if no blocks there. Kiss the back knee down, inch yourself back to that hamstring stretch, front toes lift up. Give me another big inhale. Big exhale, breathing into this shape. How are we doing at home? We're doing okay. Drop into the front toes, re-pick up the back knee. Take the blocks with you for that quarter turn. Now to the opposite long edge of your mat. We have a wide width fold, little bend into those knees, side to side. Little different, friends. Return back to the top of the space, into that low lunge. Back foot steps up. Find your pedaling through the feet. And I want you to start to find your chair pose. And my blocks are really kind of leading me down. And take your time, make sure knees feel good. We are going to drop into our sit bones. And before we do, I always like to lift my heels to then find that really lovely yogi squat or almost this very narrow malasana. And I know this is a challenging pose. Thank goodness we're at home. I'm going to bring my blocks to the edges of my hips, widen those out to then take my full drop onto my bum. If you rolled back, that's okay. Roll back up and extend those legs. Blocks to the side. I want you here, friends, for a reason. Firstly, let's take a fold, right? Find that space between blades, down the middle back, down to the low back. And then from here, go ahead and inhale, rise. See if you can plant, right? Let's even just focus on arm closest to your camera. So I'm going to be planting my right palm down. I'm going to swing my opposite leg in front. I'm going to glue my inner thighs together, big toes together, and find this lift, right, of my back bum cheek to then lift into my plank. Right? We could always drop the bottom knee if that felt good for that roll into plank. Take a little sweep of that top arm. Test the balance of this strong side plank. Regather, recollect, lift that top hip. And then go ahead, gently setting the body down, bending through that elbow, take that fold. All right, easy peasy. We're going to take the other side. Big lift. I'm going to plant my right palm kind of behind my back glute. My right hand is going to support, right? That kind of lift. Start to lift through that bottom bum cheek to find side plank opposite long edge of the mat. Take a little kind of sunrise flow through that top arm. Once we do reach back up towards the ceiling, a little bit deeper lift of side plank. Beautiful. Come back through, lowering into both glutes. Take that fold again. Give me another big intentional inhale, big intentional exhale. And as we do rise up, stack the shoulders above the hips, arms reach up. I want you to draw the elbows down. We're back to cactus arms. Hands reach behind you. I prefer my fingertips away from the body, and that is unusual. Most yogis prefer fingertips kind of floating towards their body. So whatever feels best. Big plant, lift the heart, brace the belly, glue those big toes and inner thighs. Smile and take an inverted plank. So we're lifting the hips. So we have just traveled. We found kind of that first plank, side planks. Now this inverted plank, stretching through shoulders. Beautiful. Drop the chin, drop the tailbone, and then go ahead, give yourself a little bit of a yogi hug. Bend those knees, take that round. We're going to come back to a standing practice, maybe a little sip of water. And when we do return, it's going to be tabletop position. So I'm going to go into a little bit more of a flow here, heating the body up. Right, you join the practice when you're ready. We know these practices are short and sweet, which we love. Downward facing dog, roll the toes under, anchor the hips up. Little different approach. We're going to find our right leg lifting high, three-legged dog. Exhale, low lunge. Step that right foot in front, top of the mat, right? Find those blocks to help build you up. Inhale, tall lunge. Been here before. Cactus, hold steady, strong backs. We have right arm under left. It's that second eagle bind. And then a little different, friends. We're going to go to horse pose, right? To probably the left edge of our mat. So horse pose, rotate through those ankles. And then I'm going to call this marination, right? My heels are going to come in. I'm going to kind of rock into inner thighs, side of the hips. I'm still in my eagle bind. Take a breath. And then rising out of horse, make sure now toes are pointed to the long edge of the left edge of the mat. Take your fold. As you do, untangle those eagle arms. Go ahead and kind of round through the shoulders, shake the head yes and no. And as we rise back into star, it is warrior two to the back edge of your mat. Be mindful with those micro movements. Strong, sturdy back thigh. Reverse warrior, perhaps with a half bind to the low back. Deep side angle stretch if that feels calling today. And return back into your star. Big inhale. Take a fold. Feel those hamstrings on the way down to your wide-legged fold. Return yourselves back to the top of the mat, right? Collect yourselves, hands on blocks or earth. Step the back foot up. Pedal through the feet. Big inhale as we rise. Arms grow up. Big stretch. Lead with heart, exhale, fold. Blocks to the side. Here is that second high plank. I'm going to thread through a low cobra. So drop those knees, kiss the heart to the mat, kiss the nose to the mat, tops of the feet flat. Inhale that low cobra. Head peels, chest peels off the mat. Feel and embrace that low cobra. Take another bow of the nose and return to your tabletop. We have the other side. We are waking up today. Downward facing dog. Big inhale, a breath. It is going to be the left leg lifting high for that three-legged dog. We're on the opposite side. Exhale, lunge. So sweep that left leg through, help it along. We can connect to blocks now to help lift us, anchor us into tall, tall, high lunge. Feel that board hitting the back of the spine. Cactus arms, take a moment. Eagle bind, left arm under right. So that eagle bind again. Take a breather. And I'm trying to mirror you, so you're probably right at home. Okay, so so take that eagle bind, start to rotate into that horse pose. Find your marination phase, right? Heels in, toes out. We rotated from high lunge into that strong horse. Give me a little tuck of the elbows, crunch towards the navel. Beautiful. As we rise out of that crunch, untangle the arms and support that strong star. We're in the opposite long edge of your mat. So very good work. Warrior two to the back of the mat. Sink into that back quad, shoulders relaxed. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. Reverse warrior, maybe with a half bind against the lower lumbar. Side angle stretch, right? Big reach or plant that elbow on the back thigh. And inhale into that star, big spiraling through that star. Take your fold. As you do, feel the hamstrings. We're walking back to the front of the mat, low lunge. Beautiful. Set those blocks to the side, stepping it back to that high plank. Friends, if chaturanga, if you want to give it a go here, shift your weight forward. Maybe lower the body, maybe about a quarter of the way down. Start to flip the tops of the feet, full up dog, right? Press into those palms. Feel that back, finding its release, right, or its strength through that up dog. And we're back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Bend those knees, perhaps a little hop to the top or a couple of steps. Returning into that tall mountain. Big inhale. Beautiful. Exhale, lower the hands to heart center. All right, friends, the goal is you are heated at home at this time. So from here, I want us to take a fold, drop on a table, and have a little seat onto the sit bones. And stretch those legs long. If you have a strap by your space, perfect. If you don't, perfect. And so I'm going to kind of give you a side angle view of this um, of this pose. So heron pose. Heron pose is a super strong hamstring stretch. I'm going to give you a few options. You want to be really heated. We've moved the body for a good 20 minutes now, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to set yourself up for this pose. For today's purposes, we could take on a half hero, and so you might wrap your right leg kind of behind you for half hero. We want to peel the calf away from us. We want to keep our foot close to the hip, but we definitely don't want to be sitting on it. If anybody's at home, going to be testing the waters here, and that flexion is really deep in the front knee, you could take one of your blocks and actually lift it up opposite glute, and that right away just takes some pressure off the front knee. And this could be a great Huron pose. And we could stay right here. Another option, if this is not working even with the block, we could always go into that half butterfly, okay? So whatever feels best in your body for our heron pose, go for that now. I did remove my block. You might be sitting on it. At this point, we're back into that bear hug, and that's where the strap could come under the thigh or wrapping around the foot. And so with heron pose, it's another deep hamstring. So I am able to slide my hands to the calf. You might have one behind calf, one in behind the thigh. We don't want to be rounding through the spine. So wherever you are at, feel that chamber of the back hitting this imaginary wall. And this is where a strap is lovely. We have shakes here. We're not locking the leg, right? So with heron pose, we are trying to find this flutter through a bird shape and supporting our Earth Day today. And where you might be able to gently bring that leg down, and we might find a twist into that extended leg. So a little peak pose for you in today's practice. And then we could always kind of lift into that extended leg to stretch either half butterfly or that bent leg. We got the other side. So beautiful work. Know that the blocks can be accessible for this side. If you're trying half hero, right, swing that left leg around now. Remove kind of the fleshy area of the calf and make sure the foot is indeed outside of the hip line, right? You might bring your block opposite glute to lift your body up, or again, that half butterfly. Here we go. Start to capture the thigh, maybe one hand behind thigh, one behind calf. Side view really quick. Make sure you are nice and long within that spinal canal. Yoga strap would be wonderful around the big toe or around the base of the foot. See if we can breathe for maybe 3 more breaths into this side of our heron shape. Lovely job, lovely work. And gently setting that leg down, maybe taking a little fold into that extended leg. And then lastly, walking up, finding a little bit of our gentle twist. Beautiful. And then friends, at this point, right, kind of lifting off to stretch both legs long, right? The body is now perhaps ready. Hamstrings feel good. Maybe you wish to take a final hero pose for both of your feet, right? I know I just kind of whipped into that one, but definitely not an easy stretch. Remembering calves are out of the way. I am not sitting on my feet. They're nestled close to my glutes. And then guess what? A block could be under the hip line that will instantly take a good amount of pressure off the knees. And then finding our hero. For my little active yogis out there, your hero could come reclined either to backs of the palms or even nestling onto the elbows for full hero today in your practice. I'm going to stay upright for a moment. But if you are reclining back, please keep doing your thing at home, finding that recline. And if you are reclined back, I like to sometimes kind of float my hands to the ground and allow for the ribs to open up as well. And if you are on your backside, great. We're actually going to get there in just a moment. I'll let this shape marinate for just a final breath. And I am on my block. I'll gently remove the block to the side, stretch the legs long. And the final item I wish for you to do in your body today is then lengthen through the hip flexors, opposing stretch of our hero and our heron shape. So I'm going to bend the knees and come all the way back. You could have a rolled blanket or a towel and place that underneath the low back, finding supported bridge, but then finding this extension of long bridge, right? So kind of bending through those knees, opening up through the front chamber of the hip flexors, arms might come back. You could always repush play, friends. Take yourself through one more round of your standing sequence, right? If there is time available at home, once I do post the video, that might be a great option, kind of fast forwarding through our beginning stages and coming back to a flow. But for now, friends, we're 35 minutes past the hour. And in this moment, you can tell your mind and heart, we have done something good, taken a pause from your day to just explore some shapes in the body. If you are in long bridge, begin to bend the knees, lift the hips to remove whatever was your support in your bridge, and then go ahead and give yourself a bear hug. If Shavasana is also in your time, please dive into Shavasana now. Right, lots of options. For me, friends, I'm going to rock and roll up, take a final little mindfulness moment with you as I come back to a seat. Take a nice strong inhale through the nose. Big release out the mouth. Let the shoulders drop. Thank you, friends, for this micro moment, mini gathering and collection. Press replay whenever you need it. Melanie, thank you for joining live. Always lovely to see a friend online taking their practice to heart. And happy Earth Day, friends. I hope that there's some peace, some extra calm swirling around your home and internal home. And I hope that you share it with the earth today and anybody else that nestles into your path. Thank you, friends. I send you blessings, wishes, so much peace, and namaste from my heart to yours. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Keep practicing that heron shape, and the hamstrings and hips will love you today. You might have a little more pep in your step, so enjoy that. I'll see you soon.